welcome back to the Fertility Coaching Mastery Podcast. I am Dr. Kela Smith, your host for this podcast. And this is a space where I talk about what it really takes to start, build, grow, or scale a fertility coaching practice. From the clinical side to the business side, the marketing, the mindset required to do this work, and so much more. And today I want to talk to you about something that holds a lot of people back from doing this work. And that is feeling underqualified. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. Make sure you tap that subscribe button and follow the show so that you never miss an episode. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, also make sure you hit that follow button. And if you love what you hear, please leave us a review on Apple. This work is so deeply personal to myself and my team. And the more people that can find this show, the more people that we can help, and the more people that we can just spread our message to and heal the world. So thank you for being here. And now let's get into today's show. So if you have ever thought, I don't know enough, I need another certification, or I need a certification in general, or who am I to think I can do this? Whether you're a beginner or you're a seasoned professional practitioner, if you've ever had any of those thoughts, then this episode is definitely for you. Because I know when I started my practice, I had those thoughts so much, and I still do. It's not as bad because I've got strategies on how to overcome them, but they are definitely something that's very common as you are starting any business, but especially a business in the coaching space and as a fertility coach. And so I just want to talk for a minute about the truth behind why you might feel unqualified. Feeling unqualified is not a sign that you should not do this work. It's not that at all. It actually is a sign that you care, that you feel you want to do well by your clients and patients, and that you greatly understand this responsibility. But this is where people get stuck. They think the solution is more information, more education, more courses, more certifications, more time, more money. And what happens? You stay in learning mode instead of moving into action. And now don't get me wrong, we are all constant learners. I love learning new skills and building my resume and diving into different topics, and there's nothing wrong with that. But where it becomes a problem is if you're only getting information and education and you're not implementing. And I love to say this because I think it's so relevant and prevalent to the coaching industry and to our client and patient base. But for practitioners, education without implementation will never move you forward. I'm going to say that again. Education without implementation will never move you forward. You have to implement in order to move forward. So what you actually need, you don't have to know everything, but what you do need is a framework, a process, structure, and systems that you can follow. Because coaching is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing what to focus on, what order to do things, and how to guide somebody step by step so that they get the results that they're after. So they don't feel overwhelmed and they actually get results. And when you don't have a system and you don't have a framework or a structure that you can follow, even the most knowledgeable practitioner can feel lost. They can feel overwhelmed. They can feel like they're ready to give up, not to mention how a beginner might feel. And again, this feeling unqualified is so common. And there's a few reasons why this might come up. We already talked about some, but these are some of the things that I see within our student community, within the Fertility and Hormone Coach Certification Program at our educational institute. So number one, comparison. If you're looking at people who've been doing this for years and you're scrolling Instagram, you're on Facebook and TikTok, and you see all of these coaches that seem like they have it all figured out, and they're doing all of the things. They look so smart with their posting, and they are just talking about how many clients they have and how big of a business they have. And you're looking at these people and thinking, I can never do that. How do they do that? I'm not them. But I always come back to the saying, and I had a mentor tell me this when I first started my practice, but you don't know where that person is in their business, and you don't know where they started. And that's the thing. We all start our business at a different place in our careers. Some people are brand new to the coaching industry. Some people have been working in another facet of coaching. Some people have been in health and wellness and are just adding this on. Some people have their own fertility story and now they're wanting to become a coach. So you don't know where people are starting. So you can never compare yourself to somebody else because you don't know where they started and you don't know where they're at in their business. You might be comparing yourself to somebody who's been in business for 25 years and you're in business for 1 year. You're in a different place than that person is. And so you can never compare yourself. Now, is healthy competition good? Yes. I want you looking at what others are doing. And I always try to look at somebody that is a couple steps ahead of where I want to go. And I look at what they're doing and I don't say, how can I copy them? I don't say I'm jealous of them. I say, how can I put my spin on what they are doing well? Like, what is the strategy behind how they're doing that? Now, let me put that piece into my business and put my strategy on it. And so I'm not starting it from the beginning, from scratch. I'm taking what somebody else is doing, their strategy, and I'm putting it into my business as my own, putting my spin on it. So that's number one, comparison. Number two, overconsumption. We are all guilty of this. I know I am. Consuming too much information, overconsumption on social media and with courses and with certifications. And this actually creates more confusion. I see this on the practitioner side with people wanting to start businesses, but I also see this on the client side when you're listening to 5 different practitioners about your treatment. And it's like you're just going to be confused and you're going to freeze and you're going to have paralysis where it's like so much information, you're paralyzed. And again, if you don't have a clear process, everything is going to feel scattered. You have to have a structure, a process for getting certifications, and then know when it's time to say, I have enough. I have gone all the way to the top and gotten a PhD in natural medicine. And although I'm still learning every day, I've got my credentials. That's the top for me. That's where I'm going to say, okay, enough credentialing. Now let's put everything that I know and everything that I've learned over the last 10 years into my business and work that process. I have the strategy. I have the standard operating procedures. There's comparison, overconsumption, and lack of structure. So those are the 3 things that I see when people say, I don't know enough and I feel unqualified. That's really what's happening. They're comparing themselves to other people. They're overconsuming information and they don't have structure in their business. Even if it's brand new, you still have to have structure to start the business. So I want you to shift and I want to reframe. So I want you to think about this. When you first start your business or when you are pivoting and maybe adding fertility coaching to your practice, you're not expected to know everything. You don't have to have every answer figured out. You don't have to have things be perfect. Your role as a practitioner and as a fertility coach is to guide, support, and help clients move forward. And the truth is, you only need to be a couple steps ahead to make that happen. You have to be grounded in the process and you have to be willing to learn as you go. Now, do I want somebody who's not qualified at all and is just a beginner to be working with somebody in the capacity of a doctor? You're not a doctor, you're a coach. Your role is to hold the client's hand, to educate them, to give them a structured program, to guide them through, to help them with challenges, to work on their mindset. And you're kind of the bridge between their clinical team and you. So you're that bridge in between helping guide the clients. And honestly, their clinics and doctors, they don't have time to do this work. This work is so vital to their success of getting pregnant and getting healthy, but it takes time. And the doctors and clinics just don't have the time to do that. So that's where you come in as a fertility coach. And confidence comes from doing. I always say, just jump in the pool. Just do it. Quit second guessing yourself. Quit thinking you need to know more. You need to know enough. You do know enough. Let's just jump in and do it. And confidence comes from doing. It comes from getting experience. It comes from doing a session and thinking, I could have done this better. Next time I'm going to do this differently. And then you constantly learn and refine and work with people and they get results. And then you just keep repeating that structure and that standard operating procedure. So confidence does not come from more learning. It comes from taking action, working with people, and then having them get results. That's what builds your belief in yourself and your belief in yourself as a coach. And these are some of the things that I teach within my fertility and hormone coach certification program. This is exactly what we work on. We talk about framework. I give you a framework. I give you a step-by-step process. You actually get my 12-week done for you fertility coaching program that I've worked with thousands of clients around the world who are now pregnant and have healthy babies. And you get clinical training, but you also get business training. So you don't have to figure all of this out on your own. So if you're ready to move forward feeling confident and qualified as a fertility coach, a potential fertility coach, or somebody who wants to add fertility coaching to their practice, and you want to actually step into this work, I invite you to learn more. Visit our site at fertilitycoachingmastery.com. And those links are also in the show notes of the podcast and of YouTube. And again, as we close for today, you don't have to be perfect to start or to add. You just have to start. 1 in 6 people around the world globally are struggling with infertility, and I need your help to help this population so that one other person doesn't have to struggle the way that I did and the way that I know that some of you did. So we need people to work in this field. And it's one of the fastest growing fields in 2026. And I promise you, if you're working in this field already, if you're not in the fertility space, but in the holistic health space, so maybe you're a chiropractor or a dietitian, nutritionist, a health coach, a acupuncturist, personal trainer, if you are in the field of health, I promise you, you have clients and patients coming in that do have fertility struggles. Whether you're working with them in that capacity or not, I promise you have these people coming in. And so your job is to include fertility coaching within your practice so that you can help these people. Because I promise you, if you're not helping them, they're either not getting the help they need or they're going somewhere else. And I want you to share your gifts with the world, your confident self. You are amazing, and I know that you can do this work. So I would love for you to join me. So look at the links in the show notes, visit our website, grab our free guidebook, listen to our podcast, leave us a review, hit the follow button, and do all the things. So thank you for listening to the Fertility Coaching Mastery Podcast. We are here every week to look for the show to drop. And thank you again for just being here and being within my community. I'm so grateful for you. And I'll see you on the next episode. So bye for now.